Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this lecture series, we are going to discuss about the important question bank with answer for 18EC821 network security dealing with module 1 and this is set 2. Come let's go into the video. First question, differentiate between worm and viruses with their significance. So these are the worm and viruses are two different computer programs that run on the network to spoil the file inside the particular network or a software or a PC. So here the basic difference between your virus and worms are meaning is the virus itself it is executed with executable files, that is itself it is a program that runs on a computer, but here worm is nothing but the worm itself will keep replicating it each other, that is one worm turns into two worms turn into four to six, it keeps on replicating itself, it is not like an executable file. So what happens is for a virus obviously we need an human action to be taken, we figure out where is the virus situated and we try to remove it, but worm doesn't need any human action because it itself has to stop replicating. And when the speed of spreading, if you see between the virus and a worm, the virus speed is bit slower when compared to the worms. Worms are faster in spreading because virus is nothing but it stick on to one particular file, and if that particular file is moved somewhere then the virus also keeps moving. That is why it is little bit slower than the worms. And requirement of host. So here the virus, for virus the host is needed for spreading. Here there is no host, no server, no client. It keeps on, it doesn't need any of these things. It keeps on replicating in one particular system. So you depending upon consequence, what are the removing malware, how to protect, all those you have to give a brief discussion on the comparison, and then you can tell that the significance is nothing but the virus is a small executable program that is in a form of programmed code that keeps running in a computer, and worm it is not an executable file, but it is something more serious than the virus because they are keep on spreading automatically across multiple devices without any interaction. So this is something, a significance between your worm and the virus. Moving on to the next question, discuss the concepts of phishing and phomming. So we know what is phishing. Phishing is nothing but if there is an attacker, they are going to set up a fake website. So you will not realize that it is a fake website. It will look like a same real website. So that is called as phishing. Managing the legitimate user to enter into the website which is designed that looks like a real website. And phomming is nothing but here they do the cloning of website, that is you can see here the DNS name or the IP address for each of the domain name system, Amazon, Yahoo, Bob, all these are specified here. This is before attack. After attack, if you could see, the IP address is being modified. So that is nothing but it is an example of phomming. You're cloning the website, the IP address, so that you are reaching the same DNS name or the same website, but the IP address is cloned, which the legitimate user may not be aware of. And moving on to the next question, analyze and explain security models and security management practices. So here security models, you have four types of security models: no security, security through obscurity, host security, and network security. So these are the different security models to make sure that the complete security is being provided to the complete network that is dealt with, even if it is a form of virus, worm, Trojan horse, or any kind of attackers moving on to the system will not be allowed because we follow these kind of security models. And security management practices is nothing but how you are going to manage the security that is being provided. So affordability, functionality, cultural issue, legality. So we see that the security practices that we are following is affordable. That is, every software that we keep in, antivirus software, where, for example, if you are installing in a computer, obviously we see that whether it is affordable. Monthly, if they ask you to pay some amount, we will think of moving on to a free antivirus. So that is how. Then how functionality is, whether they keep checking each and every files that has been stored or removed from the system. And legality, obviously it should be a real one that is installed in the computer. No fake things, fake softwares may be downloaded. And moving on to the next question, categorize criminal attacks with example. So here, why criminal attack is happening is only motive is to gain some financial items. So you have different types of criminal attacks: fraud, scams, destruction, identity theft, intellectual property theft. These are the common criminal attacks. So here in intellectual property theft is nothing but a person owning a property that is his own product. The other users can steal the product and they can use for their business. So that is nothing but intellectual property theft. Identity theft is nothing but here the attacker or the other user, they don't steal anything from any of the owners. What happens is, it is actually easy to manage. That is, they will get the password from somebody's bank account and they make sure that the privilege is being misused and it is never detected. And then destruction, scams, frauds. So these are all nothing but, frauds are nothing but when you insert an ATM in an ATM machine. Sometimes we forget to move on to the home page and the other person can easily steal the information, or the money that is put in the ATM can be stealed, obviously. So such kind of things are called as criminal attacks. Moving on to next question, explain active attack and passive attack with neat diagram. So here obviously the first thing we know is active attack is something which is modifying the original message. The person who is talking to you seems to be that person, but the voice would have been modified or the data would have been modified. Such kind of thing are called as active attack, and active attack is further divided as interruption, modification, denial of services. And passive attack is nothing but, here there is no modification involved. The third person is just monitoring the data that is being transferred from one end to the another end. So here the passive attack is further divided as release of message contents and traffic analysis. So release of message contents is nothing but when there is a confidential email message that is being sent. So it is desired that only the recipient will be able to access it. That is why we send emails. Otherwise, the contents of the message will be released against our wish to someone else. So that is nothing but release of message contents. Then traffic analysis. So if many messages are passing through and this passive attacker are trying to figure out the similarities between them to come up with some pattern to steal the data. So such kind of messages pile up in one pattern is traffic analysis. Moving on to the next question, demonstrate about virus, phase of virus, different types of virus. So virus is nothing but it is as already discussed, it is just a program code that is being attached with the normal code. So here you can see this is the original code where your virus infected code is also attached, perform virus job. So now it keeps copying all the data and keep deleting the data. So this is virus, and there are 4 phases: dormant, propagation, triggering and execution phase. So dormant phase is nothing but it is the idle one. The virus will be idle. This phase is not always handled with all the virus that is replicating inside the system. Propagation phase is nothing but here the virus keeps copying itself and it itself makes a copy to create another copy and keep propagating one after the other to the files. And triggering phase is nothing but here the dormant virus keeps moving to this phase when there is an action for which it was waiting is intimated. So if suppose if it wants to spoil the file, then triggering phase is the virus moves to triggering phase. Execution phase is nothing but here only the actual work of the virus takes place. And these are the different types of viruses that you can see: parasitic, memory resident, boot sector, stealth, polymorphic, metamorphic, and macrovirus. So you have to just list down this and just give a small detail of what is parasitic virus. Like it is a very common type of virus, and it keeps attacking all the executable files, and it keeps replicating. If you move on to memory resident virus, it is attached itself to the main memory. Boot sector virus is nothing but it is sitting on the boot record of the disk, and it keeps spreading on the disk. So this is how you have to explain all the 7 types of virus in detail for 10 marks. Hope you have understood the concept. Please stay tuned for more information. Thank you.